extremely fortunate and extremely lucky to have gotten the opportunities to first fly over my life, which was a dream job for me, and then have the opportunity to apply to astronauts corps, and now consequently be here.
भारतीय अंतरिक्ष यात्री शुभांशु शुक्ला.
Shubhanshu Shukla, stirring message from space.
It has been an amazing journey. These are moments that really tell you that you are getting to be a part of something that is much larger than yourself.
And take a lot of pictures. And I'm sleeping in the dragon, so I have the luxury of having a window to myself. So I do that a lot.
I am Group Captain Shubhanshu Shukla, Shuks, from India, and I am the mission pilot for Axiom 4.
2, 1, ignition.
Three nations, a new chapter in space takes flight. Godspeed, X4.
Yes.
Wow.
Bubble inside a water bubble. I told you I have a water bender.
So you really have acclimated beautifully.
Good evening, everyone. Respected invited Chief Guest of the Day, other dignitaries, registered participants from various institutions, faculty members, and organizers. We are gathered here for the 8th edition of Pinarayi Peruma and the 2nd edition of Peruma Talks. Today, we have Group Captain Shubhanshu Shukla, Ashok Chakra as Chief Guest of the Day. Group Captain Shubhanshu Shukla is a distinguished officer of the Indian Air Force and a pioneering Indian astronaut, Gaganyatri, with the Indian Space Research Organization. In July 2025, he created history by becoming the first ISRO astronaut to visit the International Space Station as part of Axiom Mission 4, a landmark privately coordinated international space flight. With this mission, he also became the second Indian to travel to space, following Wing Commander Rakesh Sharma's historic flight in 1984. Commissioned into the fighter stream of the Indian Air Force in June 2006, Group Captain Shukla has steadily built an exemplary career marked by operational excellence, technical proficiency, and leadership. As of 2025, he serves in the rank of Group Captain and is recognized as one of India's most accomplished test pilots. Born in Lucknow, Group Captain Shukla completed his schooling at City Montessori School, and was inspired to join the armed forces by the 1999 Kargil War. He graduated from the National Defense Academy with a Bachelor of Science degree in Computer Science and later qualified as a test pilot, accumulating over 2,000 hours of flying experience on a diverse range of aircraft, including the MiG-21, MiG-29, Jaguar, Sukhoi, Antonov, and Dornier 228. In 2019, he was shortlisted by the Institute of Aerospace Medicine for India's human spaceflight program and was subsequently selected as one of 4 astronaut designates. He underwent intensive basic astronaut training at the Yuri Gagarin Consummate Training Center in Russia, followed by advanced mission-specific training at ISRO's astronaut training facility in Bengaluru. Complementing his operational expertise with academic distinction, he earned a Master of Engineering in Aerospace Engineering from the Indian Institute of Science. On 27 February 2024, ISRO formally introduced him as a key member of India's first human spaceflight mission, symbolizing the nation's growing stature in human space exploration and inspiring a new generation of Indians to pursue excellence in science, technology, and national service. May I, on behalf of Pinarayi Peruma Talk Series 2026 and all of the esteemed audience gathered here, warmly welcome Group Captain Shubhanshu Shukla Ashok Chakra to the session.
Thank you, Janvi. We have a very important person who is most competent to moderate this session. Mr. Shahjahan K., Deputy Director, Indian Space Research Organization Headquarters, Bengaluru. He started his career as scientist engineer at Indian Space Research Organization at Launch Vehicle Program Office in the year 2011. He is a mechanical engineer from the College of Engineering, Kannur. He played an important role in the ground and flight safety of important launch vehicles like PSLV, GSLV, LVM3 and reusable launch vehicle RLV-TD. He was instrumental in the success of important missions like Mars Orbiter mission, Chandrayaan 2 and 3 missions for ensuring the system safety of the payloads. Now he serves as the Deputy Director and his team plays key role in the certification of human space flight systems and components and crew safety. On behalf of the organizing committee of Pinarayi Peruma 2026 and on behalf of all the esteemed members among the audience here, may I warmly welcome Mr. Shahjahan K., Deputy Director, ISRO Headquarters, Bengaluru. It gives me immense pleasure once again to be here at the same venue of Pinarayi Convention Center at this, in front of this august audience to welcome again the wonderful people, participants drawn from various colleges, schools. There are students, mainly the audience is rich with young people, school students, college students, university students, and also faculty members, academics from colleges and universities, and their parents, and the people of Pinarayi, the wonderful organizers, the local people, the people of Thalassery, all of you, in just warm words on behalf of the organizing committee of Peruma Talk Series 2026, I welcome warmly all of you to this session.
Thank you, Sergeant Sir. Moving on, we have an esteemed jury panel for the evening. I would like to welcome Colonel Vikas Jain, Commanding Officer, 6K Battalion, NCC, Thalassery. Dr. Lisha Damodaran, Assistant Professor and Head, Department of Physics, Government Brennan College, Dharmadam. Dr. Sahir CV, Assistant Professor, Department of Chemistry, Government Brennan College. I welcome 3 of you to today's event.
just before we begin the session, just a few directions from the organizing committee for the smooth conduct of this session. The session has two segments. The first segment will be the talk by the invited luminary, as all of you know who the person is. And session 2 will be your session. It will be the interactive session based on the presentation made here. Secondly, I would request all of you to minimize your movements inside the auditorium when the session is in progress. And the most important direction is to keep your cell phone either switched off or in silent mode. Once again, please maintain decorum by not talking among yourselves. You will get a chance to talk to the wonderful persons who are here on the stage. Enjoy the talk and enjoy the interactive session. Over to you, Sir Shahjahan, sir, for further proceedings.
Yeah. Thank you, Sergeant, sir. In fact, Janvi had did a half of my job to introduce Shubhanshu Shukla. First of all, good evening. Ellavarkum namaskaram. In fact, first of all, I would like to thank the organizing committee, Peruma Talks, for having me here. So, sir, I belong to this place for your information, sir. So, the Peruma Talks 2026, as you all know, is very popular in the sense nowadays that not because of the way it is conducted, but because of the topics they have chosen this times. So I was just going through the brochure. So I've seen that two experts are from ISRO. I'm proud that one is Shubhanshu Shukla ji and other is our former chairman, S. Somnath. So I request everyone to be available all these days and especially don't miss our Shukla ji's and Somnath's talk. It will be really fruitful and you will enrich. I'm showing that. So just before starting, I just want to add that today we are in a very special occasion where our in Kerala state there are two astronauts available. One is our Shubhanshu and our Sunitha Williams. So this makes our Kerala state really unique. It's for your kind of information. Often this makes maybe our state the number one state in the Kerala or in the India. So I'm really proud that two astronauts are available. Sir, I would request you can start your talk. It's a 1 hour talk. So we'll be followed by the question and answer interactive session. So I'll be helping you and rather the audience to communicate with you and in the question and answer sessions. So now over to you, sir.
Sure. Thank you so much. And thank you to the organizing committee and all the people who have come out here. I'm extremely delighted to be here, extremely happy to see all happy faces who are sitting in the audience. And I don't think that she did half a job. I think she did twice the job of introducing me. You know, I've never had such a long introduction before wherever I've gone. So thank you so much for that. It was very kind of you. Very honestly, the reason I'm here today is sitting right in front of me, Major Dinesh. You know, he has been behind me for almost a month. You know, repeated phone calls, messages, so much so that it was borderline harassment. You know, but I'm so glad that you did. You know, otherwise I wouldn't have probably flown down here. Understood the concept of what is happening here. You know, you mentioned briefly, but I think it is very important that we do this in more and more places of the country. What this platform does is makes the youngsters or the children aware of what is happening in our country. You know, what are people doing? Where are we going as a nation? And when they are aware, they are able to better make choices, you know, when they have option in the future. So once again, thank you to everyone who were gathered here and again, organizing committee for inviting me here. June 2025 was the 25th June 2025 to be precise was the date when I launched to International Space Station. For 20 days, 18 days I was on the station and 1 day going up, 24 hours going up and 28 hours coming back. So what I would like to do in the next 30-40 minutes or so is to take you with me on this journey. I realize how fortunate I have been to be selected to represent the nation in a country of 1.4 billion people. But I've always maintained that this wasn't my journey alone. Since the time I went to US for my training, I've always felt that this was a collective journey of a nation, collective journey of all of us. And so what I will try to do is take you on this journey with me in the next 30-40 minutes or so. And I can promise you it is going to be very, very exciting, very interesting and very exciting, and you will enjoy it. And I would, thereafter, we would discuss certain aspects, and I would like to answer any questions that you may have. So it is a challenging job. I was there for 1 year in US, and to compress all of that into a few minutes and share with you, it is going to be very challenging. So let us start with a small movie, which not just shows me, although the committee did a great job of making a beautiful movie out of this entire experience, but the movie that I will show you is going to be for the crew who went. There was an astronaut from Poland, from Hungary, from India, and our commander was from United States. So I want you to see how people from different backgrounds, different countries, different cultures can come together within such a short period of time and act as a very powerful and strong team. So let us see this movie, and thereafter I'll take you on the talk. Okay, can we pause this, please? So I think there was some issue wherein the audio is not coming. So we are doing commentary in this video. The crew is speaking, at various times. There is some issue which is not coming. So let us figure it out. If it gets sorted, we will play this at the end of my talk. Okay, so we will get back to it. Ever since I have come back, to India, I came back in August. 17th of August, I landed here. I have been going to events and talking about this mission of what it was, what did we do. And there is a question that has been asked to me repeatedly. Why do we go to space? A very basic question. We have so many problems here on Earth, basic problems. Why do you spend money? Why do we go to space? And I think that probably I knew the answer to this question before I went for my mission, but after coming back, it was even more highlighted. When you try to do something which is very difficult, which is very complex, you end up creating solutions which are applicable to you for your day-to-day life, which you don't know in that moment. आपको नहीं मालूम होता. So, some examples if I have to give you, on a bigger scale, the GPS is a very big example. Today we cannot go anywhere without GPS. Everybody is holding phones in their hands. But at one point of time, we used to remember the route. We used to remember the roads. We used to take the paper maps and go on a road trip. So that has all changed now. But on a smaller scale, things like duct tape, the Velcro that we use, the battery operated power tools, these are all gift of spaceflight to humanity. So these examples show us that even if you don't see it today, how spaceflight is addressing your problems, it will always find a way back to help humanity, when you try to do something extremely complex and extremely challenging. And the second interesting thing that I found when I was in space was the perspective that it gives you. So it is all clubbed under something known as overview effect that astronauts have when you travel outside the planet. That perspective that you get when you look at Earth from the outside, we have never seen. Very few people have gone. So I was astronaut number 634, that human who has traveled outside the planet, who's getting that view. Very few people have gone. But when you get that view, you also get a very big shift in perspective of how you look back at Earth. And for me, that shift was that when you look at Earth from the outside, that Earth, that feels your home. It is not a particular country or a particular region or a particular state or a particular city, but that Earth feels your home, feels like your home. And that was a big shift for me. And I thought of a good way of saying this because, it seems too big for people to imagine. Everybody says, we have it in our culture also, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. We've always believed that. But I came up with this analogy because this was very powerful for me. When we are kids and we start going to school, so for everybody in school, our home is our identity. And then when we leave our school and we go to college, for everybody in college, your school is your identity, that I am from so-and-so school, I've done my schooling from this place. Then you leave your city and you go to some other city for work, your city becomes your identity. And most of you are from Kannur, some people may be from different cities who have come here. And then extension, when you leave your country, go to some other country, your country becomes your identity, that you are representing India. I was there in US for 1 year. And then extension, what happens that when you leave the planet and you go outside, your planet becomes your identity very naturally, and you don't have to force it. And that was very powerful sentiment or feeling that I carried back with me post-mission as well. Just to show you how beautiful this is, I have okay, so we have these two capsules here. I think what has happened, we have played a slightly different presentations, but we will go ahead and we will talk about it, because if there is one thing that I learned from my space flight, which was repeated over and over again, the only constant in life is change. So you be ready for it, be ready to adapt to it. So we have something new here and we will adapt to this, okay? The image that you see on the left is the first capsule that was launched ever in which a human traveled. This is the capsule in which Yuri Gagarin went to space on 12th of April 1961. And the image on the right that you see is the capsule today, Soyuz, that flies today. So I've been trained on Soyuz as well. We were in Russia for about 1.5 years when we did our training on the Soyuz capsule. But look at the change of what has happened, what technology has done, how different it looks like. And make this image in your mind before I move on to the next slide. Because the next slide is on the US side. The first capsule which flew from US, the Mercury capsule, in which Alan Shepard went on a suborbital flight. And on the right is the Crew Dragon in which I went to space. So look at the shift here. So this was meant to be a technical presentation for a group of engineers, and I'm sure there are a lot of kids sitting here would also be, from colleges. But the point that I wanted to highlight it in this case was that it is possible to do things in a very different way. We are all limited by here. Sometimes on the Russian side, you saw there is not much of an evolution of the design. And why that happened is because they were somewhere caught by the roots of what they had already achieved. It was always a delta of what they had been doing. Whereas on the US side, the minute they opened this market to the commercial segment, SpaceX is a commercial company, it was a complete shift in mindset, complete shift of thought process of how things can be done. And that gets you a very different results. Both capsules are safe, both are reliable, but they do things very, very differently. So let us come back to my mission. So you saw the capsule Crew Dragon in which I went, and I've been training for this mission since 2020. It has been a long time, and even before that, my training as a fighter pilot has also helped me a lot to prepare for this mission. So I felt quite confident, when I was sitting on top of that rocket on 25th of June in the night, 2:30, I was quite confident. I felt that I know this, this is going to be fine. And especially the feeling of launch, it is a rocket engine that is going to ignite and is going to take you up. So this was also not new to me, as per my mind, because when you sit in a fighter aircraft and you engage the afterburner or reheat, you get a similar feeling. You get that thrust and then you take off. But when that ignition happened, those 9 engines, when the rocket ignition happened of Falcon 9, I can tell you it was so powerful and it was so overwhelming that everything that I thought, my confidence and my preparation, everything just went right outside the window. I forgot everything. And I link it to, because there are students here from college also, it is a similar experience that you have when you sit in the exam hall and you see the question paper. You have your preparation in the back of your mind, but us samay sab everything goes right outside the window, right? It was just very similar to that. So it took me a few seconds to get back into the seat, to understand what is happening. It was extremely powerful and extremely quick. You're going from 0 kilometers per hour to 28,500 kilometers per hour. I had never seen, nobody has seen these kind of speeds in about 8 minutes. That is the kind of time frame that you have to accelerate this time span. It was too powerful and too quick. I did not imagine it to be as overwhelming as it was for the first few seconds. But what becomes challenging is that when you do something this dynamic, how do you ensure that you keep the human safe who's sitting inside? So in a fighter cockpit, when you're sitting and when you're doing combat in a fighter plane, you experience something known as G forces. How many of you have heard about G forces before? Raise your hand. G loads, G forces. Okay, so very few. So G force is basically acceleration that you feel on your body, which is more than 1G. Gravity ka jo force hai, more than that. And in fighter cockpit, when you experience that force, it is from your head to toe. So everything starts pulling down. The blood from your head, it starts pulling down, it starts going to your legs. And you have to restrain yourself so that it stays up. Because if there is no blood, you will not see and you will become unconscious at some point of time. Which also happens during flying and during training, you become unconscious in cockpits as well. But in the space capsule, you are lying on a seat and you are being pushed up. So you experience the G through your chest on a different axis. And in this case, what happens, your lungs get compressed, you have difficulty breathing. So it's a very different type of training. And why we do this is because in spaceflight, if you have an abort at a high altitude, you will experience somewhere close to 18 to 20 G, which is, your spine cannot take it. It will collapse, it will break. So that is why you have to shift, and this is where the engineering comes in. This is how you ensure that you use technology to ensure that human life can sustain even the harshest of conditions. I do have an example. Let us see if we can play it. This is me experiencing the 2 different type of Gs. I'm sure we'll not have audio, but I will let you guess which is which. And then I'll take a poll after this, after you see this video. We have audio. Okay. Okay, so if I was to ask you, which one did you feel was more difficult? Left or right? The right one. Right one was the G that you experienced when you're sitting in a fighter cockpit. How much was it? Okay, anyone, any value you have in mind, any G load that you saw, how much was it being experienced? The first video actually said it out loud. the first one that you saw, which was easier that you felt, that was 8 Gs, 8 times the force of gravity, or 8 times the body weight that you have. And the second one that you saw was more difficult, but it was only 7G. So that is the difference between both these axes, and that is why it matters of how you place a human, how you get him into the cockpit, or you get him into the space capsule, and you eventually launch. So this is 8 Gs, imagine 18 Gs, if you were to experience 18 G in case there was an abort. So that is why these small things make a lot of difference. So after all this dynamism that we are talking about, extremely dynamic launch, what happens? You reach space, you enter that environment of microgravity, and suddenly there is a big silence because there is no engine noise, you are in space, there is no acceleration now, and you are just in a steady state of free fall. And space is a lot of things, but it is a lot of fun for all the kids who are there. I always wanted to do somersaults here on Earth, I could never do. But as soon as I reached space, I realized I could do multiple somersaults, standing wherever I am. It was very liberating. And the second thing, it is very disorienting. Right now when we sit, the gravity vector that we have is always acting like a compass. It always tells us this is up, this is down, left and right. We are very clear. Even if we close our eyes, we know where is up, where is down. But in space, it is absent. You don't have this vector. So you have no sense of direction. You would not know if you close your eyes and you rotate around, you cannot tell you whether you are upside down, which side is up, you don't know. So all the capsules and all the stations, they are marked, they are painted or marked in a way by which you can make out what is up and what is down. And then the concept of space itself changes. Like right now in this constructed hall that we are sitting, all of us are sitting on chairs. None of you are sticking to walls or hanging by the ceiling. It is not happening here in this hall, but it is possible in space. So, but your mind doesn't know that when you go to space. You learn it gradually. So I remember during the first day, I was supposed to cross a module. I wanted to go from one place to another, and there was a NASA astronaut who had set up a big experiment right in the center of the module. And I was going through, and I saw her, and I've set up, it was occupying the entire space, and I sat down, and I was waiting because I had to cross. I thought that there is no space. And while I was waiting, this other astronaut, she comes to me and she says, Shuks, what are you doing? And I said, I need to go to the other side, but I can't go because she's in the way. And this astronaut, she starts laughing. And she takes my hand, she takes me to the ceiling and tells me, you walk here. And that is the time I started walking on, ceiling or floating on ceiling. Because that shift is required for your brain to understand that this is possible. It is not Earth, this gravity is not there. So you can use walls, you can use ceiling to go where you want to go. The concept of microgravity is also very interesting. Okay, just a poll again. How many of you feel that there is no gravity in space? Oh, very educated lot. Everybody knows that there is gravity in space, right? Fantastic. So there is gravity in space, but we don't feel it because we are always falling around Earth. We are in a state of free fall. So everything is falling. You are falling, station is falling, all the equipment, all the science is falling. So if I'm holding this, pointer that I'm holding now and I let it go, it will not fall relative to me because it is falling at the same time. But your mind doesn't know that. Again, same, that shift has to happen. So in the initial few days, if I had to leave something, I would search for people, somebody around me, and I would ask them, can you please hold it for me by the time I finish something. And interestingly, these are also astronauts who are traveling for the first time from Poland and Hungary, generally my crewmates. So they would also hold it and stand, next to me while I'm finishing something because they also are thinking that agar chhod diya to this will fall down, But this changes after a few days. You realize that you can let go of things and it is okay. Look at this video. I'll be changing camera lenses on this in this video, and you'll see how interesting this is.
माइक्रोग्राविटी में बहुत आसान होती है, जैसे कि लेंस चेंज करना. चलिए देखते हैं. आप किसी भी चीज को निकाल के ऐसे ही छोड़ सकते हैं.
How many of you felt when I was leaving the camera ki this will fall down? You still had that feeling sitting here on this on ground watching this. But you become okay with this concept after about 7 to 8 days. But when you become okay with this concept that you can let it go, you can leave things and you can change things, it is fine. The problem is you come back to Earth with this, mindset that you can leave things and they will float. But this doesn't happen here. So I remember the first evening when I came back, I was sitting on my bed, I was replying to a lot of emails. And at some point of time, I got really frustrated because there were so many of them. And I instinctively closed my laptop, took it to the side, and I left it. And obviously, it doesn't work here. No, it fell down, there was a loud noise. Fortunately, nothing happened to the laptop, but it was a very good lesson to me that your mind can make you believe things which are not necessarily true. You know, your conditions. It takes time for your mind to get conditioned to things around you. And since there are a lot of students here, I will tell you that this extends to what you want to do normally also. Not just this physical phenomenon of gravity being there or not being there. If you want to achieve something, if you want to make something happen, if you can convince your mind first, I am guaranteeing you it will happen. In which way, what path you will take, I don't know. But if you can convince your head, if you can convince your mind that you want to get to something, it will make you get there, you know, in some ways. The concept of weightlessness is also very, very interesting. There is no weight in space. You know, you can eat as much sweets, as much cakes, as much pastries you want. You're not going to weigh anything. It will always be zero. So people are very, very happy. You know, some of them say that we are meant for space. And it's a unique thing. But there is a concept of mass and momentum. But because of this weightlessness attribute, it was possible for us to make the station. The modules are very heavy. The payload racks, the equipment that has been sent, it has been sent in batches. You know, multiple missions have gone. But it was possible for astronauts to just lift these, you know, heavy payload racks and put them in place because there is no weight. And, you know, let us have a look at a demonstration of this particular attribute. So the lady that you see who is trying to pull this heavy bag, a big bag, she was my commander, Dr. Peggy Whitson, and the most experienced American astronaut today. Almost 695 days she spent in space. And we used to joke around that she breaks the record of some of the satellites that are flying in space. You know, that is the kind of experience she has. But look at this, she's moving a very heavy and big bag. I will let you guess what is heavy that is inside this, but how carefully she has to move it. It is possible for her to move this, but she has to be careful for the momentum.
Move this bag, large bag. It's possible to move very large bags in space. You have to be very careful though, because you have to control the mass, so you don't move it too fast, because it can get away from you. What is it that we have in this bag anyway? It's incredibly large.
To see how heavy that was, you know, almost 250, 300 kgs of weight. She was able to single-handedly just pick it up and move around. So you try to come up with ways, you know, interesting ways of how you can demonstrate how physics changes in the environment of space. So when your body reaches space, it is a very different feeling. You feel it in a lot of different ways. First thing, all the blood and fluid from your legs, it shifts up. It goes to your head becomes bigger. You can look at the image on the right. My head is swollen up. It happens. The puffiness happens. You become slow. The good thing that happens is you also become taller when you go to space. You grow in height because your spine decompresses. And I was very excited about this, you know, that I'll gain a few inches of height. And I did. I gained about 6 centimeters of height while I was in space. But the problem is that when you come back to Earth, you know, you come back to your original height. So it's not a lasting change. You know, it just gives you back pain. That also twice. We don't realize it when we are sitting on Earth. But right now, all of you standing and sitting, you know, we are always using our muscles. Always. We get used to it, so we don't realize this. But in space, in the environment of macrogravity, this force of gravity is not there. So you don't use your muscle. You lose it very rapidly. In my 20 days of stay, I lost about 5 kgs of weight, out of which 4 kgs was muscle mass. That is how quickly the degradation happens. Psychologically also, it becomes a big challenge because you're staying in a confined space. The dangers of space flight, the outside environment is really harsh. No air, temperatures. If sun is falling on you, it is plus 100 degrees Celsius. If it is not falling on you, it is minus 100 degrees Celsius. So it is just cycling. So this is very real to you. And especially for long duration missions, especially when we are planning to do this, you know, ISRO is planning to do our own missions like Gaganyaan and Bharati Antariksh Station. All these challenges become very real. We have to be ready and prepared for that. So very quickly I've summarized of just a few things that we experienced in space, and now it is time for you to come back. Actually, by the time about 14th or 15th day was the time when I was really comfortable, and when we realized that we have to go back, I did not want to come back. In some sense, I wanted to stay longer to space. Obviously, my wife was not very happy about this feeling that I had that I want to stay longer in space, but it was just that. But re-entry is also a huge challenge, because all that energy that you have gained to go to space, you're traveling at almost around 8 kilometers per second. All that has to be dissipated now. It has to be brought back to zero. How do you do that? So you do that by using your own atmosphere, which generates drag. So when the capsule comes back, it flies through the atmosphere, and that dense air, it generates a lot of drag, a lot of friction, and that is what decelerates the capsule to manageable speeds. But in turn, what happens, it generates a lot of heat, and there is a huge fireball around the capsule when you're coming back, a big layer of plasma, and temperatures as hot as 4,000 degrees, as hot as sun. That is the kind of temperatures that are there out around the capsule. I was very excited to look how it would look like, this plasma, and Crew Dragon has 2 windows right in the front from where you can look. So it starts, as fire, flames of fire, it starts, and then it becomes a steady stream, and it changes all sorts of color, yellow, green, orange, red, purple, a cocktail of colors that you see all around the capsule. But while I was looking at that, I was straining my neck, raising my neck to look out the window. I felt a lot of strain on my neck after some time. And I realized that we are decelerating and we are already building up G's. We must be under 2 or 3 G. That was the kind of strain that I was feeling. So I rested my head back on the seat, and I looked at the display to see what is the value of G. It was reading 0.3 G. That was the kind of G low it was reading. So that was the shift that happens. When you're going from Earth, you are going from a datum of 1 G. But when you're coming back from a datum of microgravity. There is no G low. So it feels much heavier. It feels much worse than going up. And then when you come back, fortunately for us, it was a nominal landing, but you are always prepared for off-nominal scenarios. If the capsule lands somewhere else in a remote area wherein the recovery forces will take a lot of time. If there is a problem with capsule, you have to be ready to jump out into something that you're seeing on the screen, a dinghy in which the crew will stay and sustain for days before the recovery forces can reach to you. But what happens interestingly, that you went from Earth to space. Space was new for you, but it took you about 4 to 5 days. You got used to that environment. And when you get used to that environment and you come back to Earth, Earth becomes new for you. So you cannot walk when you come back. I was not feeling really bad when I come back. People feel, all kind of symptoms. You get nauseous or headache and everything. I was feeling quite okay. And I thought I would be able to walk, but you cannot. So when I was trying to walk and taking a step, it is as if somebody is pulling you down and your body doesn't know how to stop from falling. So you will fall down unless somebody holds you. So I tried to do this 2-3 times, and then the people who were holding me, they said, why are you making it difficult for us? Just let us carry you, for some time. And so I had to stop. But I realized is that it is not that you don't have the strength. Your body has forgotten how to walk. So this is me almost about 3 hours after my splashdown. Just after splashdown was much worse. But this is me trying to walk straight, and you see how challenging I am finding it to just walk straight. So these are the changes that happen, and it takes you for me it took me about 7 to 8 days to come back to doing almost all normal functions that we are doing. And almost a month to recover your muscle strength and cardiovascular conditioning that you have. That takes time in exercise and proper nutrition. Okay, so this is one of the last slides that I have, and just want to apprise all of you, what are we doing here? What did this mission mean? Why did we go for this mission, and what is the plan for the future? So this mission was a stepping stone towards our own mission, that is Mission Gaganyaan, that India is planning to do, to send humans to space and recover them back safely. And while we do that, we are also working on our own space station. We have our International Space Station, which is there in orbit right now, but it is going to be decommissioned very soon, probably earlier than 2030. So India is planning to send its own space station, have its own station around the Earth. And then we also have a mission that has been declared in the space policy of sending a human to moon. And why it becomes important for all of you, especially the kids and youngsters who are sitting here, is that these are the opportunities that you have for you in future as you go and step out. And you can be a part of this in any way. You want to explore, you can go and become an astronaut. If you want to ensure that someone explores, you can be an engineer, a scientist, a researcher, or any profession that you can choose, but you have to contribute to make this happen or to make this a reality. Okay, so this is the last slide, and this is also the answer to probably the most asked question as far as space flight is concerned in India. And this question started in 1984 when Wing Commander Rakesh Sharma went to space, and then Prime Minister Indira Gandhi, Srimati Indira Gandhi asked him, कि ऊपर से भारत कैसा दिखता है? How does India look from space? And I cannot have better words to the response that he said. सारे जहाँ से अच्छा. I don't know if there is anything better to say to top that. So what I will do is, I truly believe what he said now that I have seen it, and what I would like to do is also ask you to see it. So I will show you a video that is India from space, and we will be passing from south to north, southwest to northeast. We will be crossing, just south of Bangalore. So if you are quick enough, I was sitting down just before coming here with Navneet, and we were, pausing and trying to identify where is Kannur, and we were able to identify Kannur. Okay, so if you are quick enough in this video, it will be fast. It is a time lapse, so you will be able to see Kannur, Mysore, Bangalore, Hyderabad, Pune. We will see these major cities. We'll also see some purple flashes, bright flashes on ground, which are essentially thunderstorms or lightning that is happening on ground. And then we'll cross over India, and we'll cross over Himalayas, and you will see an orbital sunrise. Now, in some ways, this video was shown in the movie that they made, but without explanation, it makes no sense. So maybe now when you see it, it will make more sense, and you'll be able to realize it better. So let us see. So this is moving. The green glow that you see, that is Earth. The flashes that you see, these are the thunderstorms that are happening. And this bright piece that you see, this is India that is emerging. The brightest city is Bangalore. Next to it is Mysore, and then Hyderabad and Pune on top. And you see these, the flashes that you see, these are all thunderstorms. You also see the India-Bangladesh border on the right, the yellow lights. And this is the sunrise from orbit. You can see this 16 times in one day in orbit. So it is as beautiful as, you see it one time or you see it 10, 20 times, it doesn't matter. So I would like to, thank you so much. I would like to end my talk by, giving a small message, especially all the parents are here, the kids are here. But my message to all of you is this, that we as a nation are going on a very, very bold journey right now. There are a lot of dreams that I have already shared with you as far as spaceflight is concerned. But as a country, we also have a dream of being a developed nation by 2047. It is not easy. It is not going to happen overnight. It is not responsibility of someone else that can make it happen. So my message or request to all of you is that you have to own it. Each one of us have to own it. That it is my responsibility. It is our responsibility to ensure that India becomes a developed nation by 2047 in whatever we do, wherever you are. But you have to start thinking like that. You have to start changing your mindset, and then everything will align. You will find your purpose, you will find your calling, and you will get right in the place. But that is what my message to you would be. And also I will end my talk by saying what I said from orbit. Sky was never the limit, not for me, not for you, and not for Bharat. Jai Hind and Jai Bharat. Thank you.
Thank you, Shugs, for wonderful presentation and taking us to the space and bringing us back. Really, it was really mesmerizing. Even though working in this area, I could feel that when you are telling about the G's. So it will be very challenges for us to, design such a systems for the Gaganyaan and really take it serious. So now the floor is open for the interaction. So now just before starting, I just want to know, in 2018 when our Honorable Prime Minister announced the Gaganyaan mission, so there were, ISRO has interacted with the Air Force for deputing the pilots. So there were so many people. I remember more than 60 people were there, and you are fortunate enough to be selected. I would like to know, whether the audience want to like to know, what are the qualities? I mean, if someone has to become an astronaut, what are the qualities that you are having, even the 4 people are having? So can you just brief us?
No, surely. I think it's actually a very interesting story also. So in 2018, this announcement was made, but early 2019 was the time when this official letter came to us that they're looking for test pilots to be a part of this Gaganyaan program. And they had listed certain requirements that they wanted test pilots, and there are total 72 test pilots in the country. But already to become a test pilot, you have to undergo a huge selection process. So there is one level of rejection already that has happened there. But we are 72. But the requirements said, one of the requirements I was not meeting. They wanted 2 years of experience as a test pilot, and I had only 1 year of experience serving as a test pilot till that time. So I was very disappointed. I went back home and I was saying, we came so close, and now you won't be able to apply because of this requirement and everything. I thought about it a lot. Next day morning, I went to my commanding officer and I said to him, sir, this doesn't sit right with me. This is such a huge opportunity. It should not be restricted just based on this one QR. And he patiently listened to me, and he said, do you know how many QRs I meet? I said, no. He told me that I meet none of the QRs, and I have applied. Who is stopping you from applying? So then later on I realized that everybody applied, irrespective of QRs, because this was something so exciting for everyone that everybody wanted to be a part of it. To be specific to your question that you asked, there are certain qualities I think that are important, that are checked. So there were a huge selection process which lasted about 8 months. Medical was very intensive. Physical was difficult, but not as difficult. We were all from the armed forces, so you had to do some training, but you could navigate that. And the most challenging, I would say, was the psychological. I don't even know how much was the assessment that was done. But having gone to both the establishments like Russia, US, and having done the space flight, I think the key attributes are that on the highest level is that you have to be very resilient as a person, when you are doing these things. You also have to have the ability to be calm under stress. That is also required, which kind of you build up over your service career as well when you are doing flying also. And the third thing is that you have to be a team player. There is individual brilliance is okay, but it will not help you if you are not able to work in teams. So that is very, very important. So I would say that these were the 3 big highlights, requirements in terms of traits for selection as astronauts.
Excellent, sir. Actually, it makes clear. Thank you. Another question? Any other question from the audience? Yeah. Those who have any question, they can raise their hands. Yeah.
I'm Sitara. I'm studying in Government Brennan College. I'm majoring in philosophy. Group Captain Shubhanshu Shukla. I'm glad to be here today to have this opportunity to ask you a question. As a fighter pilot, test pilot, astronaut, and recipient of the Ashok Chakra, you have lived through moments that will be remembered in history. I wanted to ask, in such times when the outcome is uncertain and the stakes are high, what kind of mindset helps a person to focus on their duty while unknowingly shaping history? Is it ambition, discipline, or a deeper sense of purpose that guides you?
First of all, thanks to you. This is an excellent question. All of them you guys can clap. There is no embargo. Please appreciate the question. So, I think all of them have a place. Your motivation has to be there for you to do things. A deeper sense of purpose is required for you to be on a very long journey. If you have a deeper sense of purpose, short-term failures will not affect you. You will fail, you will come back because you believe in something much bigger and you will keep going. But I think to be very objective about the question that you asked, how do you continue to perform your duties in uncertain times? I think the highest quality is discipline. You don't have to rely on anything else. It becomes a muscle memory for you that you will keep doing those things even if you don't feel like it, even if odds are not in your favor, but you will still do it. To be in the moment and to do the activity without knowing what outcome it will eventually lead to. I think discipline plays a very, very important part in that. Thank you for your question.
Actually, this reminds me the words of Abdul Kalam in The Wings of Fire. As Sir was highlighting, the intense desire and belief and discipline will make definitely your goals. You can reach your goals. I think it's testimony to what we are seeing today in front of us. Next question.
Good evening, sir. And I'm Devdas Chandke, and I'm from RGMHSS Mogeri Rajiv Gandhi Memorial Higher Secondary School, Mogeri Kannur. And sir, I want to ask you that how much important is artificial intelligence or machine learning or programming coding, and that's for youngsters who want to become astronauts or test pilots, and what's the experiences in technological areas, and that's it.
Okay, thank you. I think this is an emerging field, AI and ML. This is a recent phenomena. So when the International Space Station was conceived and it was being built, it started its construction in 1998. So this concept was not there. AI and ML was not there. So inherently in design of the International Space Station, it is not integrated. But today when I went for this mission, you see products, you see experiments that are being conducted, which are exploring how to effectively use AI to streamline the processes, to make it more efficient, So I think it is a very important skill. But what is also important is that we have to understand has to be a balance between using these advanced tools that we have and decision making that we have. So in critical fields, which are safety critical, like space exploration, human space exploration, or medical field, or let's say defense, when you are taking decisions which have lives at stake, I think there you will still have to have a human supervision yet. We have not reached that stage. So it has to be a very good balance of how you use AI and ML. But to be an astronaut, you can have this skill or you cannot have this skill, because so you have to understand you can be from any profession. You can be a doctor, a researcher, a scientist, an engineer or a pilot, and you can still be an astronaut. In the initial missions, there is a requirement of test pilots to be there because the design is new, it is being evolved, and it is not yet proven. So this is what test pilots do as a profession. Once this has matured and when it has proven, then anybody from any discipline can come and join this and they can be astronauts. What is required for you to be astronauts will be taught to you during the training. You will get prepared and you will learn the things that you need to learn. So you can be in any field and you can come into this. Only requirement is whichever field you are, you will have to be exceptional. You'll have to be good at it. You will have to be great at it. So whatever you choose, just decide to do very well at that. Thank you.
Thank you.
So thank you for having a reply in this auspicious event. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Myself, I'm Ardra Nair. I'm from Pinarayi Gandhi Public School, Mambaram. It's very near to this Pinarayi. So I don't know whether the question I'm asking is actually related to the session which is conducted here today. But I personally want to be in the Indian Air Force. So I'm asking it because I want to. So my question is, what is the one message which you want to convey to all those girls, to all those young aspiring girls who want to be in the Indian Air Force, or to be more exact, the defense? What is the one advice you want to give to them? What is the one thing which you want them to know before going into the defense?
See, there are so many things that I can tell you for your question. But I'll tell you a story. You saw the video of my commander, right? Peggy Whitson. So today she is the most decorated and most experienced American astronaut. I mentioned she has spent 695 days in space. She is regarded as the authority, when you talk about human spaceflight in NASA. She was the Office of Astronaut Office. She was the commander of the astronaut office, at some point of time for a lot of years. So she has been involved in multiple places, won multiple awards. She is a global figure now, But when she was wanting to be astronaut, she was rejected 9 times before she could be an astronaut. It was in her 10th attempt that she got to be an astronaut. But how many girls, how many kids she has inspired, it is countless. So first thing, that is what my message to you is that to anybody who is trying to do anything, if there is only one thing that I can share with you, because I don't know anything else, I just know this, because I don't think that anybody has a recipe for success. I don't think anybody knows what will lead you to success. I don't know. Maybe there is somebody who knows, but I don't know. I don't have the path that I can show you. Only thing that I can tell you, that if you decide that you are never going to give up, you will succeed in whichever form, whichever way, whichever path. But you have to decide, whatever happens, I will not give up. I will keep trying. So you may get into Air Force, you may not get into Air Force. We don't know. But if you want to do something, of that scale, you will find a way to do it. If you relentlessly keep trying, it will come to you. In which way, which form, I don't know. But that is the only mantra. Always believe, if you have a dream, if you have a goal, you will never give up before you reach there. That's all. Thank you so much.
That is a great message, sir. Yeah, from this side.
Good afternoon, Shukla sir. I am a student, I'm a plus one student of Excel Public School, Chalakara. As a second Indian to travel to space, the first ISRO astronaut to have been to the ISS, and a participant in many more such missions. While also being the recipient of Ashoka Chakra this year, for which I heartily congratulate you. My question to you, sir, is, from such a position, looking at the journey of space exploration so far, if you had the chance to influence a decision or direction in any instance in the past, present or future, what would you do and why?
Again, excellent question. Fantastic. Thank you so much for this question. With the insight that I have, and my experience is not just governed by the recent spaceflight that I have done. It is also governed by my flying career that I have had in the past. And how they are similar, the reason is that when people fly, there is a risk of life and death, even in aviation and even in space flight. So if there is one thing that I can communicate to anybody who is involved in this human space business, it is this, that when we do unmanned missions and when we do human space missions, it requires a mindset shift. It is not a change in degree of the work that you're doing. It is not that if you're, let's say, working for 6 hours a day, if you start working 12 hours a day, we'll be able to do a human space mission. That is not going to happen. It is a change in kind. It is a change in the way we think about these missions. We curate these missions, we develop them, we execute them. So the only lesson that I would say is that we should be informed of the historical lessons that we have. There have been disasters in the past, and there are lessons that are available. So I think that is very well understood by a lot of people, but I would like to reiterate this to everybody who is working in this community, not just India, everywhere, all over the world, human space flight missions, that it requires a different mindset, not just of the astronauts who are going to space, but of every person who is involved in that mission, right down to that technician who is making that design that has been given to him by the engineer or the designer who is designing. So all of them have to think very differently of how they are going to do this mission. So I think that mindset shift is very, very important for these missions. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Good evening, sir. I am Diya Anil of class 11th from St. Joseph HSS, Talshiri. So my question is, as an astronaut designing, which single moment in the Gaganyaan mission do you believe carries the greatest responsibility and why?
Which single moment in the Gaganyaan mission?
Sir.
So I think right now, the responsibility that we have is we have to make the mission happen. So we are standing at the cusp, but we have not executed it yet. So I think from now till the time we have our first flight, this is a very crucial period. And I think this is the biggest responsibility that we have to make the mission happen. Because I think we owe it to the country. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Good evening, sir. I'm Alina. I'm from Rajiv Gandhi Memorial Higher Secondary School, Mogeri. सर मेरा आपसे ये सवाल था कि जो ज़ीरो ग्रेविटी ट्रेनिंग आपको यहाँ मिली थी और जो ज़ीरो ग्रेविटी आपने स्पेस पे जाके एक्सपीरियंस किया, तो उसमें क्या सिमिलैरिटीज़ थी या फिर आपने थोड़ा डिफरेंसेस एक्सपीरियंस भी किए थे?
डिफरेंसेस ज़रूर हैं. यहाँ पे द ओनली वे दैट यू कैन एक्सपीरियंस माइक्रो ग्रेविटी, यहाँ पे हम कैसे एक्सपीरियंस करते हैं कि यू गो इन एन एयरक्राफ्ट, एक एयरबस क्लास का देयर इज़ एन एयरक्राफ्ट which is completely empty from inside. All the seats are removed, all the equipment is removed, it is completely hollow. और उसमें क्या है कि उसको पैडिंग कर देते हैं चारों तरफ से. so it becomes soft कि आपको चोट ना लगे ना ये. And then what it does is it flies level and it pulls up and then it bunts. It follows the trajectory or the curvature of the earth. So it is essentially falling for some time. So उस brief time में 30 to 35 seconds आपको microgravity experience होती है. And you experience that, you learn to move up, you do different activities. But challenge is कि वो केवल 30-35 seconds के लिए होती है. Then it comes back in gravity, then you do again. So you do multiple episodes of these 30-35 seconds of microgravity exposure. तो आपकी बॉडी को वो extended time नहीं मिलता to get exposed to long duration microgravity. So the changes that मैंने जो mention किए आपको presentation में, वो आपको यहाँ पे जो exposure होता है उसमें नहीं दिखाई देता. This happens only when you travel to space. So you do get a feeling, आपको समझ में आता है कि ये कैसा लगेगा, कैसा दिखेगा, but the actual experience when you go to space is quite different than what we experience here. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.
Good evening, sir. My name is Devananda. I am speechless and overwhelmed with mixed feelings. I also want to become an astronaut. You are one of my greatest inspiration, and I have a question for you. Was there a moment when you felt becoming an astronaut might not be possible? If so, how did you overcome such situations?
I actually never thought or believed that I would be an astronaut. It never occurred to me. We did not have a human space program in this country. But when the journey started, so I understand your question. So I think you're saying when the opportunity was there from that time till you became one. So when the journey started, this thought did not come, the eventuality of what it is. I'll tell you how I thought about this. So when we know, I was already a test pilot serving at that point of time. And this opened up to all the test pilots, So my thought at that time was, whoever becomes or whoever goes to space, I would know him, because it's the same community. And that in itself was a highlight for me. That journey itself was so fascinating that the end really did not matter. Whether you get there or you don't get there. It is literally a huge bonus for me that I have gotten a chance to go to space. But this entire journey has been fascinating. So that experience itself has been amazing. So I think I have thought about it like that. So I never felt the pressure of will I be or will I not be. I was really happy to be in that moment there doing what I was doing. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. So I just want to know, so initially the mission was planned June 5th and you are in quarantine. So later it was due to some technical issue, it was postponed to June 18th or 25th. So I just want to understand what was the reason for the quarantine and how do you manage to be isolated in that condition?
Actually, that is a great question again, because Axiom 4 crew, my crew, we had the longest unbroken quarantine in the history of human spaceflight. From 1961 till today, we were in the quarantine for longest period of time, 32 days we were in quarantine. We were supposed to be there for 14 days. The reason for you to be in quarantine is that if there is any infection that you have, then you live through that, you finish that before you go to space in the International Space Station. Because on the ISS, the air that you breathe, it is the same air that is being circulated. Everybody is breathing that air. So if one person has something, it is very likely that everyone will have it. So you don't want to carry that infection there. That was the purpose. But we had multiple delays, technical issues, first on the rocket itself, then on the station. So because of which it kept extending at some point of time. And that was actually a very uncertain time. You didn't know when you were going to go. All your family, my family flew in for the launch, then they went back. Then again there was a scare that launch is going to happen, and they started halfway, they went back. So this happened multiple times. It was nothing was known. And it was quite stressful also. But again, like I said, at these times, this is what I have learned. The first thing that I said, the only constant, and I will remove spaceflight and I'll put life. The only constant in life is change. So you have to be ready for it. Whatever happens, you plan, you do anything, but things will always happen in something different way. And if you're okay with this, I think life becomes much easier. You adapt to things very well. If you're okay, if it is not happening today, it will happen tomorrow. So I think that because there is one very interesting thing that happened. I don't know how many of you remember, but we were supposed to launch on June 5th initially, then June 8th. But before June 8th, I think on June 6th or 7th, there was a small conflict on Twitter that happened between the President of the United States and Elon Musk. And it lasted for some time, and during that conflict there was a tweet that came out from Elon Musk that we should cancel the Dragon program. And we were sitting in quarantine, and I was like, whether we are going or not going to space, it was that kind of a thing. But again, eventually it works out. Obviously that was a short-term thing that happened. But interesting, again, I would say that, you have to be calm and accepting of whatever is happening, that things will eventually work out. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. That is a very good message. Be prepared for any change. Thank you.
Good evening, sir. I am Sharash Aros from Excel Public School studying in 9th, and I am very truly honored and excited to talk to you who has went to space. And when you were filling out the NDA form that was your friends, you were truly were doing it in secret, right? So what advice do you have for us here, the kids, to take their first big step, who are afraid to take their first big step? Like, what advice do you have?
So before my advice, I have a question for you. You also do mischief in class, right?
Yeah.
You do things that you don't tell your parents.
Yes.
Hide things from them. You do things which are wrong, but you still go ahead and do it. So if you have the courage to do this, what is stopping you from having the courage to do the right thing without telling your parents?
That is also a question, but
so my point is that if you feel very strongly about something, if you really are convinced about doing something, you should go ahead and say it. I have a philosophy, when an opportunity comes or it shows itself to you, most of the times what happens, we start evaluating it. We start considering the future. How will it work out? If I apply, what will happen? Whether I will get selected, I will not get selected. If I get selected, what will happen? I will go here, so the rest of the options will be closed for me. So all this starts happening in our mind while we are sitting on a sofa in our drawing room, without even taking the first step. So my suggestion would be, when an opportunity comes, first go and say yes, and then later on figure out whether it is going to work out for you or not. Before that fear of whether it will not work out takes over, go and say yes first. So I think that decision taking ability has to be there. So whatever you want to do in future also, you will have a lot of decisions coming up. You are in grade 11, right? 9th, you are in grade 9. So very soon a lot of decisions are going to come for you. If you are convinced, go ahead, take a decision, and seeing your confidence, I think your parents will also understand. If you tell them that I really want to do this, they would really understand and they will let you. But be as confident as you are when you are doing the mischief without telling your parents. Okay?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Good evening, sir. My name is Abhinav Shubhanshu, sir. Sir, I have a small question. What is the most riskiest challenge that you face after you went space? How did you feel and how did you solve? And I also have a small question, sir. What's the climate, or hot or warm? Thank you.
So, see, space flight is inherently risky. The entire mission is risky. I have just highlighted some aspects of it. You understand the risk, you mitigate it, and then you accept the risk before you go for the mission. Everything is risky. There is nothing not risky when you are sitting on top of 600 tons of propellant and lighting it on fire. It is risky. There is things can go wrong. But you understand it and you mitigate, and then you accept that, and then you go through with the mission. And there is a huge team, that is responsible for ensuring that things go safely. Things may still go wrong, but that understanding is there before you are going for the mission. And temperature wise, inside you try to maintain it as close to as what we experience here, but there are phases when it becomes too cold or slightly hot, I would say. So but during return and during launch also, the cabin is pre-chilled to 18 degrees of temperature, and that was really cold for me, that 18 degrees when they pre-chill it in the Crew Dragon. So otherwise, other than that, the temperature is fairly okay. 24 around they maintain that in the International Space Station. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, please.
Good evening, sir. I am Devadita from Mambaram Higher Secondary School, and your journey is very inspiring to all of us, and I am so grateful for this opportunity to ask you a question. And I'd like to ask you that, When you returned to Earth after your time on the ISS, what was the first emotion you felt when your feet touched this ground again?
Actually, when my feet first touched the ground, my only intention was not to fall. That is what I was thinking, because I could not stop myself. There were people holding me. That is what came to my mind. But the other thing, what was interesting was that when I was on station, uh, the astronauts select their own food. They have a food tasting session much in advance, and then that food gets packed and it goes to the station. But for some reason, the food that we had selected could not go to the station because of the delay in the cargo mission. So we were eating out of the NASA standard food box which is there on the station, and that food is very low in sodium, and so essentially no salt. So by 10th or 12th, and we are Indians, our food itself is a huge study in itself. We have extremely flavorful food you have. So after certain days, I started craving salt or missing salt. So I had on the call that I had with my flight surgeon, I had told them in advance that when you come to receive me, at the splashdown site, you please bring some salty chips with you, when you come to receive me. Otherwise, don't come to receive me. So he brought a bag full of chips for me. So when I was taken to the medical bay and I was lying on that stretcher, so he handed over that bag to me. So that was my thought. I was missing the food and I was really happy that I could get some salt when I came back. Thank you.
Thank you. Due to shortage of time, we'll take now only 2 questions. Yeah. Please.
Good evening, sir. I am Ashwati, a 9th grader of Kendra Vidyalaya Talsheri. Sir, I extend my sincere congratulations to you on being conferred with the prestigious Ashok Chakra Award. My question is, your work about the International Space Station has pushed the boundaries of human knowledge with over 60 scientific experiments conducted in the microgravity of space. Out of all these remarkable explorations, which experiment did you find the most fascinating, and why did it leave a lasting impact on you?
Actually, all the experiments that I did were quite fascinating, to be honest. They were selected with an aim that we also want to do our own human space missions in the future, and very, very well designed by all the scientists. But if I have to single out the one that I really enjoyed performing or doing, it would be the one myogenesis that I was doing. I was doing the stem cell research to find out ways of how can we stop muscle atrophy or degeneration of muscle. I mentioned I lost about 4 kgs of muscle. So this happens very rapidly in space. The scientists wanted to check whether we can introduce some supplements on the stem cells to prevent this muscle atrophy or to accelerate injury repair. And why it was interesting for me, because these biological samples are hazardous in nature. They have possible chances of contamination, so they have to be contained in a box. So when you perform this experiment, there is a big glass box inside which everything goes. It is called the life sciences glove box. And then you insert your hands through sleeves inside this box, and then you perform the entire experiment inside the box only. You cannot move. And so I had to be in that position for 4 hours at a stretch. You cannot go anywhere. Once you are there, you are there. You have to be there and perform the experiment. So it was very interesting for me to optimize my process of doing that experiment. Every time I was repeating it, and I started with 4 hours, and I think I came down to 2.5 hours, to reduce the time every time that you're doing and learning something new. So this was a very interesting phase for me to understand of how to conduct an experiment in space. Thank you.
One last question.
Sir, my name is Shai Shadaf. I am from Kendra Vidyalaya, class 9th. I want to ask, what is the most challenging part of your space mission when you are actually in space?
I think the most challenging part are the initial few days. Especially for a short duration mission, what happens that your work is fixed. You have to do your science. You have only these many days. But you're not feeling very good when you go to space. Your body, I told you, there are some changes which happen. So you have headache, you have backache, you have nausea, some kind of, you are feeling slow, but you still have to do the work. So I think the first few days are challenging in that way. That was the most challenging part, I would say, for me in this entire mission. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll take one more last question. Please.
Jain sir, myself Sri Parvati Santosh. I'm currently doing my graduation in chemistry from Government Brennan College, and it's my professor Prashobit sir who helped me to be part of this class. And so my question is that I'm a defense aspirant. my ambition is to become a fighter pilot, the first fighter pilot from my family. So as being an aspirant, it's very difficult to maintain that consistency for an exam. So, and it is very competitive in this country. So, can you please give me a suggestion that I'm very ambitious about my dream, but still sometimes I'm lacking my confidence, which is very difficult to continue my preparation. And I think you are the best one who can give me a piece of advice on this. So, sir, can
Okay,
you
absolutely. Thank you for your question. Actually, I think, in this regard, I think I am the best one to tell you, And the reason is that when I was a kid and I was studying in school, I was so underconfident that I was scared to go on stage, to even speak a few words. I used to hide in the, crowd in the assembly, last line, second last line, not come in limelight every time. What happens is gradually, when you start doing things and when you believe in things in silence, confidence is not built in gatherings. It is built in your own room where you are sitting, where you are working, where you are putting in the effort, which shows when you go out. That is the time the confidence is built up. And it will happen. There will be moments wherein you will doubt yourself. There will be moments when you will not feel strong enough or you will not feel capable enough to do the work. My philosophy is whenever I still feel like that, in this mission also, there are times when you doubt yourself, whether it is possible, whether this is, whether I can do this or not do this. You always feel like. My policy is that when I feel like this, I go to sleep. And the next time when I get up, I am rejuvenated, I am motivated again, and I get back on my task. So find your calling. If you believe in the larger picture, you want to be a fighter pilot at the end of the day, right? So some moments of underconfidence should not affect that dream. That is all that you have to believe in. And believe in it so strongly, okay, moments will happen, but let them go. Now if, let's say in one day, something happened, and that is a moment which made you feel it is not possible for you. But if you let that moment now decide the rest of your day or rest of your week, now that week is also gone. So let it go, it will happen. Everybody feels that. I can tell you the highest office bearer, the highest, most accomplished people, they all have a moment of self-doubt. But it should not affect your dream or where you are trying to go. And that is, on a policy level or philosophy level, I'm telling you. Second thing, very practical. Put quotes. I put quotes, lot of quotes. I like them. Whatever you like, what motivates you, just paste it all around you. Have books which you like. Talk to people who motivate you. Every time it gets reinforced, you get new motivation to do things. These are practical things that you can do in your everyday life. Surround yourself with these things. Talk to people who are always encouraging you. Have quotes around you. Listen to people who are talking about these things as much as possible, so that you get that surge of motivation when you are feeling down. I think that will help you a lot. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. We'll take one more last question.
In the name of this Pinarayi, I am first of all thanking you, your presence. All the students are asking questions now. I am not a student, I am a working woman. Here I am working as village officer Pinarayi. But my native place is from Kottayam district, it is in Kerala. I vastly miss my family all these days. The only simple question, all these students are asked you the formal question, the simple question, what is the most beautiful thing that you missed in those wonderful days in the space, sir?
That I missed, you said. That I missed.
Missed badly, sir. You may miss badly those beautiful days, that the most important things, that the lovable things that you missed in that. Not for you, sir. I am asking you, sir.
What is he saying? What is he saying?
He's saying his wife.
No, I didn't miss his wife. I missed my wife. So, I think it is very true, to be honest. When you are experiencing something which is as beautiful and which is as it changes your perspective. It shifts a lot of things when you look at things from space, and you just want to share it with the people you love, people you care about. So I think that is the only thing that I probably missed where I was up there. My family, I have a wife, I have a son who's 6 years old, my parents, and I I could have shared, what that was with them, which I was able to through a video call, but it's not the same. So I think yes, that would be something that I missed during my stay on the space. Thank you.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Your
Thank you,
simplicity and all your Shah Jahan, sir, and all of you came here, sir. We are very grateful to you, sir, because Pinarayi, as it is a small village, it was a great chance to see you such a great people like you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. I'm very, very happy to be here. Thank you so much.
One more little kid is here. Yeah, please.
Hello, sir. My name is Devik and I'm in class 8. I'm studying at Chinmaya Vidyalaya, Kannur. I'm very excited to meet you for the first time. So, I have one question for you. I have heard time slows down in space. So, the mission being approximately 18 days, how many days did it feel like in space?
That's a good question. Theoretically, yes, what you're saying is right, and actually, practically, also, it is true. So the concept is the faster you move in space, the slower you move in time, right? That is what happens. But for the effects to be perceivable, your speed has to be really fast, closer to the speed of light. That is when you see drastic changes, where things happen. It is proven, the GPS satellites that are moving around the earth, we have to shift the time, because of the delay that they experience because of the speed, we have to shift that. But that is very, very, very minute figure. It matters in position, navigation and timing. But when you talk about biological, changes that a body will experience because of this time, I don't think that it is big enough for us to perceive. So I did not experience this shift, physically. We'll have to travel very fast for us to notice it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Before concluding, we missed that. Sir, our Shuks is conferred with Ashok Chakra. I request everyone to put your hands together to big applause to Shuk for getting the Ashok Chakra. Sir, as an ISRO scientist, I just want to convey here that so many Gaganyatri will come in the coming years. But as we all know, Neil Armstrong is the first person who landed in the moon. Like you will also remember as the first person to enter the International Space Station. So this will be a very big honor for us. So now we have come to the concluding session of session 2. We have a lot of other questions because of shortage of time we are not taking. So now I request Sergeant Sir to conclude.
Thank you, Group Captain Shubhanshu Shukla, Ashoka Chakra, and also Shah Jahan Sir, for coming out with your dazzling ideas, and also Shah Jahan Sir for facilitating this wonderful session where a lot of very interesting, brilliant, young-blooded questions, so to speak. And those young-blooded questions do mean a lot, not to Pinarayi Peruma alone, but to the whole country and to the whole world. So we have, I think, gone around the world also. May I request on behalf of the organizing committee, the chairperson of Pinarayi Peruma Cultural and Charitable Society, Mr. Kakkoth Rajan, to hand over the as a token of our love, gratitude and regard, a small memento to Group Captain Shubhanshu Shukla. Just 1 minute. We have another memento to be handed over to our moderator, Shah Jahan Sir. May I request Mr. Rajan Kakkoth to hand over the memento to Mr. Shah Jahan K, Deputy Director, DSRQ ISRO Headquarters. Thank you, Rajan Sir, for coming onto the stage to honor both these persons with our token of love. We have a prize. We have a prize for the best question of the evening. The prize goes to Miss Sitara of Government Brennan College. To the best of my memory, she is a philosophy student, not a science student. May I request the luminary speaker of this day, Group Captain Shubhanshu Shukla, Ashoka Chakra to hand over this prize to Sitara of Government Brennan College. We come to the end of the, just once again, with my concluding remarks, we will all stand up for the national anthem. May I conclude on behalf of, just one second, there will be no formal vote of thanks, just please be seated. I have to propose the vote of thanks very informally. It has been a wonderful session. The session was made substantial, meaningful, interactive, lively, with a very disciplined. Special thanks on behalf of Pinarayi Peruma organizers. Hats off to all the people here. You were a wonderful audience. You maintained all the instructions, discipline, decorum. And I think when Sri Shubhanshu Shukla goes home, he will carry good memories about this session. And also you too, his young kids are here. I think there are people, very small children here. In Malayalam, we have the Prayogam usage, Abalavardam Janangal. So, just thank you, Group Captain Shubhanshu Shukla, Ashoka Chakra, for this wonderful session, for coming all the way down from Bangalore. Again, the moderator, Mr. Shahjahan K, for moderating this session without any hassles and keeping up the time. Just one personal sentiment I am expressing to you, sir, as I'm representing all the people here. The most exciting thing in the world as far as we humans are concerned is the capacity to fly. We human beings have all sorts of wonderful things with their imagination, with their capacity, hands, fingers, but we can never ever fly. So whenever we see a flying object, it enthuses us, it encourages us, it inspires us. So whenever we get into the aeroplane, we think of, I think personally of two subjects, namely mathematics and physics. People are here from mathematics and physics. And next time when we fly, we will think of Group Captain Shubhanshu Shukla. Also you will come in front of us. Please give both of them a very big hand. Thank you everyone. Thank you technical engineers who managed this without any hassles. The projection, which was the heart and soul of this presentation. Thank you organizers. Thank you all the team who worked behind it. Thank you jury members for deciding upon the best question of the evening. And also thank you, congratulations to all the people. Don't be disappointed because this is not a prize winning competition. All of you asked very meaningful questions. We all get up for just the national anthem. Thank you.
जनगणमन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगल दायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे